Why, hello, YouTube. Here from the fabulous On the Trail with Bart Lair and Bicycle Shop. I thought I'd finish up this whole RAGBRAI thing with a few parting thoughts, and maybe it might help someone who's going to do it next year. One of my biggest thoughts when I was watching, before I went on this, when I was watching RAGBRAI videos on YouTube, was how are these people doing this? These were not healthy looking bike riding people. Usually I'm thinking like 22-year-old who's bone thin and is on an 18-pound carbon framed bicycle. And the people I saw on the RAGBRAI, some of them couldn't barely walk. I don't know how. I still don't know. And my thought is that not everybody's riding the whole week. People are riding 2 or 3 days. Some people are just riding one day. Maybe some people are just riding from one town to the next town. So just because they're out on the road with them doesn't mean that they're a week-long rider. And my thoughts were on the RAGBRAI. These were not short miles. These were 50, 60, 70. In just previous years, there was 80-mile days. How do people do it? One guy I saw walking out of the toilet, he could barely walk, and he had full riding kit on. I don't know. So I'll just go over a few questions. My biggest one, where do you park your car? Best would be to have somebody drop you off at the west side of Iowa and pick you up at the east side. That would be the best. I live three car days away, so nobody was coming to pick me up or drop me off. Then if you drive there, my advice is to park your car at the ending day. Not at where you start. That was the big problem with what I had going on, is that they've got to have the bus leave at a decent hour, or you'll be getting into the west side of Iowa at midnight. So they usually leave at 3 o'clock. So that means you have to be there at the bus at 2, really 1:30. So if the days get too long, or your bike's messed up, or you're messed up, that's going to be a problem. If your car is parked where the ride ends, you can get there at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock. It's fine. It stays light till 9. So there's no big deal. If your car is parked on the other side of Iowa, that's a big deal. Now, if you're a fast rider, if you're a good rider, if you're on a fast bike, no problem. It's 60 miles for a fast rider is nothing. I mean, people were getting into Guttenberg at 11 o'clock, but they're good riders. I'm not. I'm not a good rider. I'm okay. Part of it was the bike, and I've talked about that. If I ever had to do it again, I'd pick a road bike or a fast tire gravel bike. So that brings me to the next point. What bike do I bring to the RAGBRAI? Number one, look at how good of a rider you are. If you're a good rider, then you can ride on a tricycle. You can ride. I mean, there's the guys who are on unicycles just going at it. There are guys who are on all kinds of different bikes, but they're good riders. One guy was on like a fat tire bike, like I've got there. He was a good rider. I could be on a road bike. He still beat me. But I would say they've got these videos that say, well, the best bike for the RAGBRAI is the bike you already have. Not really. Not really. It depends how good of a rider you are. If you're a good rider, then any bike will do. If you're me, then you need every advantage possible. The RAGBRAI is already hard enough. Doesn't need to be made harder by bringing a fat tire bike, or a bike that's slow, or a bike that's heavy. And if you're not a great rider, it just decreases the odds that you're going to be able to go the entire way. And maybe you just want to go a day or two. Then bring whatever bike. But if you're going to go the whole week, a bike does matter. How strong of a rider are you? How good of a shape are you? Can you climb hills well? If you don't climb hills well, then I'd say the fastest bike possible, like a thin-tired road bike, is going to give you the least rolling resistance. I've read there's all this massive amount of information on YouTube and the internet on rolling resistance and big tires, small tires. I think I've watched 100 of those videos. I still don't know. It just depends what kind of tire you got and what kind of bike it's on and that kind of thing. But generally, the thinnest tire is going to be better rolling, or less rolling resistance. Fatter tires are going to have more. So on the tank I had 2.35, and that was too fat. I've just bought some 2.1 tires that have a less aggressive tread. So I'll show you those when I get those, and I'll show you how I'm going to put that on with my new bomb-proof insert, which will let you ride on a flat tire, they say, up to 6 miles. That did take me when I blew out my back tire, so I'm going to try that out. I'll make a video on that. So how good of a shape you are kind of depends upon how far you can ride in a day. Before I came to the RAGBRAI, my longest day was like 45 miles. And the first day of the RAGBRAI, I did fine at 70. Remember, when you're on the RAGBRAI, it's not 70 straight miles. It's like 8 miles over and over and over again. So you get to stop and walk. And so as long as you have a good enough stamina to go 8 hours like that, it's fine. I'm not saying that it's better to not do 70 miles. You know, of course, it'd be better to train at like a 50 to 70 mile day. But I never did that, and I even with the tank, I think I did okay. E-bikes. So before I went on the RAGBRAI, on online forums, there were lots of negative comments by people commenting how they shouldn't allow e-bikes, blah blah. I never heard anybody complain about it on the RAGBRAI. There are lots of e-bikes. There are lots of people. Even the tandem bikes had batteries in them, and I don't think it was a problem. The problem is charging e-bikes. I've got an electric 2.0 X Peak, and that battery takes 6-7 hours to charge, and that's with a fast charger. So the problem is, where are you going to charge your battery? If you're going to sign up with a charter, make sure that they have the capacity and ability to recharge e-bike batteries, or it's going to be a real short RAGBRAI for you. Like my 2.0, it pedals okay without any power, but you know, for 5 miles, 10 maybe, not 70. So make sure that your charter has a good ability to charge e-bikes. So if you're not a strong rider, it might be a good idea to come with an e-bike. E-bikes will pretty much equalize speed. So if you're with friends who are not on e-bikes and they're a bit faster than you, then an e-bike will be the difference between you having a nice time, keeping up with them, talking, laughing, giggling, stopping at the same spots, and you being alone for a week while your friends are 10 miles in front of you. So don't be afraid to bring in an e-bike. I'd say a fat tire e-bike is probably not the best, like mine wouldn't do. A thin tire e-bike that can go 60 miles on a charge, and then you be sure to pedal most of the way. And to conserve batteries. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring a second battery on your bike with you. How long to spend in town? I learned pretty quickly that it's easy to spend an hour in each town, and if there are 6 towns, that's 6 hours. And then, so you're going to get to camp at like midnight. So unless you're a fast rider, you got to keep it going. And the way to do that is a couple things. What I do is, before I get to town, and this works for backpacking too, before I get to a town backpacking, I usually stop and do number 1 in the woods on the outskirts of town. That way I'm not just desperately searching for a porta potty or somewhere to go. On the RAGBRAI, that works especially good because the lines can have 30 people in them waiting to go to the Kaibos porta potties. The second one is, I would stop at like a Casey's in the morning and get a couple extra sandwiches for the day, so that I'm not just starving when I get to a town. If I am hungry, I'll just pull over and eat my sandwich from Casey's in the town, maybe have a beer. The beer lines usually aren't too long. The food lines are insane. The second day, the line was an hour, 15 minutes just to order, and then I waited 45 minutes for them to cook a grilled cheese sandwich. It's too many people. That's one of the main problems. So if there's more than 5 people in line, I usually wouldn't stop. There are vendors, the same vendors are in each day. And if you go online or Facebook, you can see where they're going to be at. Say you wanted to go to Beekman's Ice Cream, but there was 50 people in line. Look at where they're going to be the next day and then check out that. Do you want to use a charter service? So if you register for the RAGBRAI using the RAGBRAI site, it gives you the right to sign up for a charter. Now, if you don't sign up with a RAGBRAI site, you can't just go pick a charter. That's what I've read. So charters are great. The main RAGBRAI, let's discuss the main RAGBRAI is, I think it was like $300, $250 to $300 for the week. That gives you can camp in the main campground. I believe you can use their showers and you can use their luggage vans. But the luggage vans, my gosh, it might be a half an hour wait with your bag in the morning to put it in the van. There might be 100 people in line. There's probably a good 1,000, 2,000 people in the RAGBRAI campgrounds. So you can imagine the line to put your bag up on the baggage truck is long. So charters, there might only be 4 or 5 people in line. Not all charters are the same. I think there's about 35 charters that work in the RAGBRAI. The biggest one I believe, is Pork Belly Ventures. I think they usually have 1,000 to 1,400 people, but they have nailed that whole process. They've got pretty much everything you can think of that you can do for a writer to make it easier on you. They can do for you. Just imagine any kind of thing you need, and they'll make it work. To probably the smallest charters, maybe only 20 people, 25 people. A lot of charters use these big buses, like an old 1960s bus that puts the bikes on top. I use the just folks called the out-of-staters. They were good. The tents were kind of dated as they leaked on a really hard rain night. But the one thing I liked about it is that charters can give you a tent service. Tent service, it means that they will just set up your tent. They will go get your bag from the bag truck and put it inside your tent, so that when you pull up, it's just there. You don't have to go looking for it. You just start to unpack and then call it a day. When you're ready to leave in the morning, you just pack up your bag and leave it inside the tent. They'll come by after you've left, put your bag in a dolly, put your bag in the truck, roll the tent up, take it to the next town, set it up, put your bag in it. That, my friends, is gold. Because the last thing you want is to be setting up a wet, muddy tent and then try to jam it into your luggage. It's just going to be, if you can afford it, I would highly recommend a tent service. Can you go on the RAGBRAI by yourself? I did. I didn't die, but I am an introvert in my lonely lair, and it works out okay. You usually meet people. You're across from you. Just say hi. You see them every day. The same people you see every day, or just even out on the road, you'll just see the same folks every day. If you're good at meeting people, it doesn't matter. Usually I've gone with people who are extreme extroverts. If you watch my Camino de Santiago series, Nigel was an extreme extrovert. So I just kind of pull up and back and watch. I'm a watcher. But yeah, it's fine to go it alone. You'll meet people. You're never alone. There's 20,000 people around you. How much cash should you bring? Food was about $8 to $10 typically. A beer was $5 to $7. Pie was like $6. So it depends how many of those you want to do a day. Like if I stopped at Casey's, I could get breakfast and lunch for $15. And I didn't have to wait in line for hours. So it just depends how much you want to go, how fast a rider, how long you want to spend in town. I think I spent about $300 in cash, and most all the vendors don't take Visa, so they want money. Water. Pretty much everybody in the expo towns sell water. It's like $1 per 16 ounce. Usually there are farmers and people along the way who have these big PVC pipes with water coming out of it. Always stop there. I bought water like the first couple of days, and then I would just go to, every time I pass a farm, I'd take time to just get off the bike, fill up my water, just sit in the shade because it's hot, and then move on. So I didn't really buy much water. But I did add electrolytes to it, whatever brand you want. I was using Element, LMN, electrolytes, but even like any kind of store-bought is fine. The problem is that if you drink too much free water, you can blow out your sodium. If you study marathon runners, they can get in serious trouble because they just drink straight water without electrolytes in it. So their sodium levels get low, and then bad things happen. So if you can, add some electrolytes, or stop at a Casey's and get some Gatorade. Don't just guzzle gallons of straight water the entire day. What to do in the campground? There's nothing to do in the campground. So it's to your advantage to kind of hold up in like the last town. If there's shade there and there's music and it's only an 8-mile ride, then feel free to kind of burn some time there. Usually the campgrounds are hot. It's 95 degrees. The charters might have the big tents, but it still seems a lot more comfortable and easy to pass the time in town. I never tried to take a shower until like 6 or 7 o'clock. If you take a shower too early, like 3 o'clock, you're going to be sweaty and hot and a mess by 8 o'clock anyway. So kind of wait until later on in the day to take a shower. Cell coverage. I heard that there's no cell coverage in Iowa. I never really had a problem. There was just a couple times when like in the camping town where you've got 20, 30,000 people trying to all glom onto a cell tower that's probably only built for 1,000. That's a problem. It's not that there isn't cell coverage, there isn't cell capacity for 50,000 people. So I use Spectrum, and I think they glom on with all the other cell phone companies to use the same towers. Do you need a GPS program? No. It's never unclear where the route goes. There's 10,000 people in front of you and 10,000 people in back of you. It's clear. I use it to just see where I am, how far to the next town, and combining that with the RAGBRAI's little graph of the map of where each day goes. It was just one extra bit of information that was just useful to have. Should you do the RAGBRAI? If you live near Iowa, jump on. You don't have to register for the RAGBRAI. Meaning you don't have to pay money. It's a free country. You can ride wherever you want. And a lot of people, I believe they're called bandits, who are just they pack everything that they use. They've got the big bags on the front forks and the back of the bike. And they camp wherever they can find. Now, as far as that goes, if you do that, I don't think there'd be a problem camping wherever you want to for that one day. I can't imagine cops are going to just say a word, because there are tents everywhere, everywhere. So if I were doing that, I doubt if there would be a problem. But yeah, you can just come out for a day or two carrying your own stuff. And then try it out. You don't have to sign up for the entire week. And in each meeting town, I believe there was a RAGBRAI tent office that if you wanted to, you could purchase additional days. It wasn't like that if you bought Sunday and Monday that you couldn't buy any more. Monday night in the meeting town, you could probably go to the RAGBRAI tent and buy Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, you don't have to sign up for the entire week. Would I ever do the RAGBRAI again? I don't know. I doubt it. I'm not I don't enjoy the amount of chaos and just crowds and lines. If it were about half that size, I'd think about it. But there are lots of other rides I can go on, other states, ones that aren't so humid. Interesting fact: corn. I never knew this before. Can sweat up to 1,000 to 2,000. An acre can sweat up to 1,000 to 2,000 gallons of water a day. So it will release that much water into the air. So you can imagine how many hundreds of thousands of acres of corn there is in Iowa. Makes it just incredibly humid. So the humidity for me was a problem. You're wet, the tent's wet, your clothes are wet. You put your clothes on in the morning, they're wet. You take your clothes off in the evening, and they're not too bad until the morning, then they're all wet again. So as I said in my luggage video, buy a waterproof bag. So I don't, getting back, I don't think I'd do the RAGBRAI again unless a friend wanted to do it badly and wanted me to come along, and I doubt if that's going to happen anytime soon. And one last thing, bike security, theft, people trying to walk off with your bike. I've never heard of it. It's hard to say don't bring a bike lock, but one good thought is that no matter how expensive your bike is, the guy next to you probably is 2 or 3 times more expensive than your bike carbon framed everything, and they don't have a bike lock. As long as you're in the RAGBRAI, 50 bicycles left and right of you in a town, I've walked away from my bike with no lock, nothing, and yes, I would need psychotherapy if it got stolen, but it's not going to get stolen. I would say it's not an issue. For some reason, everybody in the towns of the RAGBRAI gives everybody a day where there's no theft. And so I would not worry about your bike walking off. I felt comfortable completely leaving my bike alone while I'm a block away. But that's just me. If you feel like you just have to have a bike lock, my gosh, you'd be the only one. People would think, what is wrong with this guy or this girl for locking up their bike? Anyway, that I will conclude this session with. So I hope some of this information has helped somebody, and we'll see you when we see you.